All right. What is up, humans and mutants alike? My name is Kyle. I am with Danny. We are back. It has been a while. It has been a year. We left, and now all of mutantdom is dead. Once again, genocide has taken a toll on the X-Men.
What a surprise.
What a surprise. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It happens way too often. So we are starting the Fall of X, kicking it off with the Hellfire Gala 2023. What was the last thing you read, Danny?
It was, I believe, the Eternals stuff, where it was like the AX Eternals Legion thing or special event where the mutants fell again.
Yeah.
Fell for like the 45th time, and now they're falling for the 46th time.
Yeah. They're falling
Genocide.
again. Falling again.
That old
always
rhythm
falling.
the mutants like to play. It's their favorite. It's their greatest hit.
We saw a tease to an end of Krakoa in Inferno, and that was a lie. It's still
Inferno was the event,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
That was the no. Inferno
I think X came after.
Yeah, that was the Moira initiated event through Orcus. But then they're circling back again.
But here, we're going
and Orcus
back
is
here.
like, we're trying again.
So we'll see how that goes. Spoiler, not well for mutants, which is weird. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
A lot of good people on this. We got Cassara. We got who else we got? We got Larraz.
Yeah.
Pepe Larraz. We got Marte Garcia.
It's great.
Silva. We got Silva, Dodderman, Shitty, Valero, Shitty, Kubert, Dugan. Yeah.
Well, the best artists are working on it. So
best artists.
They got their A game
of
artists.
X-Men currently. So that's great.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Is phenomenal.
What do you think of this cover?
This cover is phenomenal. It's a good
cover's
cover.
Great. I like the cover.
Yeah. Reminded me of the old House and Power of X covers.
We got Clubhouse Sinister. As I like to call them.
That's fair. I like that. I see what you did there. It's clever.
Shall we just dive into it?
Let's do it.
Let's just dive into it. So we start out this comic with we have Emma and Scott. They're just talking, and they're kind of going over like Miss Marvel and her situation and her mutantdom abilities now, which they get into, right? So they talk about it.
The abilities not so much, but her being a mutant.
Her retcon into this situation. So this was like weeks ago when they were talking about it, and then we cut to the actual events, and that's
when they're resurrecting.
This is when she's getting resurrected, and they explain it. So she's both an Inhuman and a mutant,
but her mutant gene didn't activate yet.
Didn't activate when the Terrigen Mist hit her, which the Terrigen Mist is deadly to mutants.
When their mutant gene apparently is activated.
When it's activated,
which is confusing because that's not how it was when they did the 198. Because there were a bunch of people who were depowered, and they were like, "Well, I'll just use the Terrigen Mist," and then that violently killed them. So. Retcon.
Yeah,
because in movies Miss Marvel's going to be a thing. In the comic books, X-Men comics sell really well. Miss Marvel doesn't. Let's make her a mutant. There we go. All right.
Really lazy way to get
I mean, that's what's really happening here, and they should have just said that instead of the stupid thing about like, oh, but see, because your mutant gene hadn't activated, we could just use Terrigen Mist and you're fine. MacGuffin.
Yeah, I don't even care that they made her a mutant. Like, I expected this from like a decade ago. Doesn't change the fact that this is a lazy way to bring it in.
But I mean, they only made her an Inhuman because they couldn't make the mutant movies before. So now it's the same shit. This never ends.
It's an editorial nightmare.
This never ends with these comics and the fucking movies. It's so fucking just nonsense. None of these things have their own free will anymore. They're all tied to that linear like cycle of development.
But yeah, so they retcon it. They kind of give a very poor explanation of why Miss Marvel now is
very hand wavy and quick.
Mutant.
Just
and they're like, all right, cool, you're a mutant. By the way,
she's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, she's like, wait, to my parents. I think that's what she's like. They're all they like quickly go from like mutant to like Hellfire Gala, and she's like, wait, did my parents even
You
know,
know
I'm
I'm
dead?
alive or dead?
Yeah, what's going on?
I think they brush over that where like they do, but I think Emma says something about what she's like, I already retconned that out of their brain, so you're fine. They don't deal with the trauma. It's all very quick. It's all very like, well, you know, I died, but my twin brother stepped up for me, and you can just call him my name, and we'll act like we already knew each other. We could skip that awkward get to know each other phase.
Yeah.
Quick.
They're really pushing this like past. They just want us.
It's done.
She's a mutant. She's a mutant now. It's cool.
The last picture towards the end is like Miss Marvel issue 1, the New Mutant. It's not even New Mutants. She is the New Mutant.
New Mutant.
And she just has her normal uniform, but mutant colored or X-Men colored. With her scarf, her Shinobi scarf.
I do like the scarf actually,
I hate anything that reminds me of her.
So Jumbo Carnation's all about that. She's prepping.
He's like, you're mutant, let's make you a costume. And she's like, nah, I'm not into this. And I'm like, you jerk.
Yeah.
Let Jumbo Carnation do what he does best. Make a dope ass costume for you.
This is what he does, which we see as the party gets started. Like, even remember the lighthouse dude.
Yeah, he's at that thing with the lighthouse dude.
And Jumbo Carnation was like, oh, this guy. I'm into this.
Cut back to lighthouse dude, and his nipples were like pierced, and he's like playing with them. He's like, yeah, Jumbo Carnation. I'm also into this.
So they're all into it. So we just kind of jump into the Hellfire gala. It's happening.
It's kicked off.
Things are going on.
There wasn't so much introduction to people arriving like the previous ones.
Yeah.
It's more of just it's
happening.
The gala itself is almost inconsequential.
Right.
To the actual story.
The whole story itself, the gala is kind of just in the background.
Can we take a moment though to appreciate how edgelord Magneto is?
Right. That's a Magneto? Is that Magneto? No, because Magneto's not here. He's Magneto's where is Magneto? I think he's just retired now, right? Because he died. He died, and he doesn't have any resurrections.
What?
Because he got rid of them.
So he's just an old man
to the Rocky people. I think Storm is the same. She doesn't have any resurrection protocols either.
That's so.
So, but I think Magneto's just.
So who's this guy?
So who is this? Yeah,
it's cool. I mean, he looks like how Magneto would I expect him to look with the black and the red.
Who is that?
I mean, that's a cool
Cyclops.
That's supposed to be Cyclops.
Cyclops, yeah.
Oh, okay, I see that now.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's his old black and red style when he was like a bad guy, kind of like Magneto.
Yeah.
I see.
Phoenix 5 red colors, black and red. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So everyone's at the party. They're having a good time.
For the longest time when I was reading this, I didn't realize that was Jean. I thought that was Polaris, and then I was like, "Oh wait, Polaris doesn't have hair like this." Duh.
Yeah. So this is okay. Yeah. So you see here because
he's putting it on
the mid party, and then Scott kind of gets a call from the treehouse, and he's like, "All right, let me go handle some business real quick," which we're gonna find out is a diversion. A lot of things that are happening are diversions.
Everything was right now. Planned by Orcus.
Yes.
Carefully. The second time.
Yes. And while that's going on, we get this small conversation between Jean and Juggernaut where Jean's just like, you should put your name up for the X-Men team. He's like, all right, yeah, I never thought of it.
And he's like, I guess I could play around with X-Men instead of beating them up all the time. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to do.
So we see Kitty, she's just hanging out, literally leaning on a portal, which
she can't use
that'll come back. That'll come back later. So things are just happening. Things are popping off, and then we get Miss Marvel rocking her like 70s like flared bell bottom pants,
Wonder
almost.
Woman get-ups and stuff. It's weird.
And we get Charles kind of greeting.
Yeah.
Making her feel comfortable.
You get this vibe that the whole thing is a political ploy, though, because they're trying to use her as like a bargaining chip to the rest of the world to be like, look, she's both an Inhuman and a mutant, and she's part of our team. So, like, I don't know. I haven't read comics with Miss Marvel, but they're making her seem like she's freaking Spider-Man. Like how like everyone's just gonna be like, oh, Spider-Man's a mutant. The mutants are cool. I don't know how many people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, Marvel's a mutant. I mean, I don't know. Is she that popular in the Marvel landscape as like a
she's
superhero?
Pretty popular. People love her. I don't think people like her solo stuff. I personally don't like, but when she shows up, people seem to love her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I guess Charles kind of like reiterates that in almost like a straightforward kind of way, where it's just like you should be appreciative, but also proud that you're a mutant, and maybe use that as like a talking point when you speak to people. Show them how great we are. It's all like politics. It's all double talk.
Yeah. And while he's talking to Ms. Marvel, I just thought this was funny. Rogan, Captain.
Oh, Carol Danvers.
Carol Danvers talking to each other.
Old Miss.
Like, remember
old
when
Miss
I
Marvel,
took your powers and put you in a coma?
Yeah, and made myself like super relevant in the 90s.
Yeah.
Because after in the 80s, or no one was just. It was like, oh yeah, Rogue. Yeah. She kind of looked like a skunk with that old haircut. She had like the Pepe Le Pew hair.
Yeah. And then we get introduced to Rasputin 4. She's kind of introducing herself to Miss Marvel and talking about how she's
a fan of hers.
She's a fan.
In the future, apparently, she's relevant, I guess, because, retcons, they got to flush them out.
Yeah. So she's like, I really dig you because of what you do in the future. Wink, wink. Spoilers. I don't know. Maybe not. But it's just like anytime. If you ever see someone in the future that's like, I'm a fan of your stuff, or like, I loved you from something that hasn't happened before. Stop.
It's a trope.
Stop.
Such a trope.
Stop. So while that's going on, this is where we're met with Wynn, right? Yeah, I think that's his name. Wynn, and that's when we get this kind of conversation about gods, right? And this seems to be setting up, if I'm correct, Jonathan Hickman's new run that's coming out in the fall about gods. Because it's like mentioning like how mutants see themselves as gods, right? And he's just like, so you see yourself as gods. He just questions it, right? He's just like, not even like denying it, saying that's funny or anything. He's just like kind of going with it. And that's kind of it. That's it. So the tease and we're out.
Yep.
We are out from here. And then, so when that happens, while that's going on, the Avengers essentially get an alert. And they got to take off.
So they all the Avengers leave, and the X-Men who are part of the Avengers team also leave.
Yes, exactly. So they kind of bail. More people are leaving. Again, this is another diversion happening. And
more people leave here.
I think they even mentioned I don't remember where it was mentioned, but they mentioned the ubiquity or essentially the X-Men Avengers team post
the Unity team.
Unity. That's it. They mentioned the Unity team, which was like the X-Men Avengers.
That's why the X-Men leave with the Avengers.
Yes.
Some of them do.
Yeah.
Like Rogue and I don't know what Wanda. What is Wanda anymore?
I don't know where that's at.
But yeah, those people dip and they're gone now. So the party has less people to help out if something bad happens.
What do you think of the post Avengers like Unity team stuff? I like
the first time they did that
Rogue
versus
stuff was fine, but other than that,
I hated it the first time they did it when the Avengers vs X-Men was over and they did A plus X, and I just I've always been every time they do that I'm like no, because it's Uncanny Avengers is just another trick where they're like, look, the Avengers aren't as popular as the X-Men, but if we put these words and colors close together, maybe people be confused. Movies.
Yeah. So they leave, and when that happens, it's time, Danny.
Yep, it's time.
It's time to announce the X-Men
things seem to be happening, but they're like, let's just not pay attention to that and let's announce the team.
Hell yeah. So while that's going on, we get Jean. She's like, all right, it's time. We get the Cuckoos kind of doing their syncing.
Everyone syncs
stuff,
up.
their psychic syncing.
Yeah.
And that's when all the mutants kind of do their bidding. They bid.
They vote
for who they want to nominate, and then they vote. It all happens.
So sync up, they do that, and we're revealed with the new team right here.
And we get revealed with the new X-Men team, which is we got Talon, we got Sync, we got Prodigy, Cannonball, Frenzy, Dazzler, Jubilee, and Juggernaut.
And if you're confused about that, that's not a mistake, because this is like one of the worst X-Men lineups I've ever seen, and I genuinely like Cannonball and
Juggernaut.
I couldn't give a
Prodigy's cool sometimes. Sync
and Prodigy on the same team seems kind of weird.
True, that's the thing. It's kind of redundant there.
It's almost bizarre.
I like Sync just because of what's happening with
him and Talon, at
but
least makes
he's
sense.
been on the team already.
Yeah,
so.
and they already had a Wolverine.
Jubilee.
And Jubilee's terrible. She's not even like a good like.
Where's her baby? What happened to that baby?
I don't even want to know. Marvel cannot like. I don't know why people can't get. In the 90s, I enjoyed Jubilee in the X-Men animated series, the original one, but that's it. She has no place anywhere else. Every time they introduced her in movies, it was dumb. Anytime she's relevant, it's
Not
dumb.
even as a vampire?
No, because that was like them trying to make her cool by edgelording her, and that was stupid too. It was dumb.
But this team doesn't last for more than one panel. So
No.
we got to the next panel, and boom!
Everybody's dead except Juggernaut.
In comes
Nimrod.
Mm-hmm. And he just takes out. Look at Dazzler. Dazzler's in two pieces. It looks like Prodigy's head smashed in. No, that's Frenzy's head smashed in.
Yes.
Prodigy's half of his body. You see his skeleton just like vaporized away. And
you just see the lower legs of Cannonball flying away.
Yeah.
So which is confusing because if his powers are activated, he's technically indestructible. Yeah. So I don't know how that works, but whatever.
Sink and Talon
Dazzler's
bailed.
one down. Yeah, Sink and Talon bailed. And then Juggernaut's being thrown, and Jean's like trying to save him.
Like, what the fuck is
happening?
Well,
she's awestruck, yeah.
And yeah, it doesn't go well for, I believe Jubilee's first on the docket. Yeah.
Well, she's pretty much immobilized already because he crushed the majority of her body, but she's hanging on, and he's like, "Let me double tap this real quick."
She's probably paralyzed at this point.
She definitely.
She has her hand right. She's about to.
She looks like she's like putting some energy into it, but
about to do some popcorn fireworks.
Pew, 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 pew.
And right when he just like just bam.
She's like a sparkler in his face.
Her fucking head.
Yeah.
In.
Jubilee's out. So.
Yeah, so we got some of the team coming in, and
everybody goes on the defense.
Everyone goes on the and we get next coming in. We get Iceman, and he pretty much tells like Ileana, takes the team, take all the
everybody get out of here, get the humans safe. Yeah.
And he
starts fighting
when
Nimrod.
Iceman comes in, taking on Nimrod very egotistically, because he's like, bitch, I could freeze like the ice caps.
Terraform the planet.
I could terraform
What are you?
A planet, and that's when he kind of like punches him.
He's like, I'm prepared.
Like,
Check
what are you gonna do
out.
with this punch? And this just kind of, because Nimrod is a sentinel. He is like the perfect sentinel.
Yeah, he adapts. He has something
to anything
in the simplest way. He can adapt to take you out like in milliseconds,
and that's what we see here. He just punches him.
He makes a weird like heat
thing
that injects this weird plasma into Bobby, and that is pretty much game over for him.
Yeah,
because he's like, I can take that. There's no problem.
And he just melts,
just like Senator Kelly in the X-Men movie.
Yeah.
He's like, where's my eye? He kind of freaks out, and he's like, Scott, Jean, Warren, where are you?
Right.
Doesn't care about Hank.
He does not mention Hank's name, which
Hank.
I find funny, but he does mention the original team. The original team. He reaches out to them in his last moments.
Yeah, it was very humane. It was like sad for a little bit, but this is all a little absurd. So you're like,
moving on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So people are freaking out.
All right. So
Sentinel's like one Omega down, moving on to the next one.
The X-Men team's down. Bobby's down.
Gene's like fastball special with Juggernaut.
Yeah, Gene fastball special, like a psychic fastball special.
Very well animated. Looks
cool.
I
love that. Just like you could see the speed at which
talks
that
about breaking the sound barrier and all that.
Yeah, it's very, very awesome. And then we don't see... He kind of chases after Nimrod. We don't see him for a while.
Yeah, they're fighting off screen while the rest of Orcus makes their move.
Yes.
Just raiding all the different compounds and locations of strategic interest.
Yes.
In the Krakoan structure.
Exactly. Some Sentinels come in, and that's when we get this. I love this. Just out of the portal dances. Dr. Stasis, right?
Yeah, Dr.
Stasis and Club Sinister.
Club Sinister.
and Dr. Stasis dips.
Oh no, Club Sinister dips Dr. Stasis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There. Yeah.
That was upside
look
down.
at that. Yeah, he's like breaking his back to be dipped. Jesus.
Yeah, so he comes in. He's like, "Look at me! Little did you know, I've hacked your portals and fucked with your medicine."
The human race is being held hostage. Introducing MODOK.
MODOK, look at this dude. You have to look at him. Just look at him.
Yeah,
that's your punishment.
He just slides his face in, and he's got a little remote that's like, yeah, it's all hooked up. I have this generic red button I could push. Look at it. And Charles is like, I'm useless.
To flashback a little bit to some of the Sins of Sinister and some of the X-Force stuff, there were moments where we saw Ben Ulrich, who works for the Daily Planet, right?
Yes, yeah.
And he's trying to figure out what's going on with this medication. And you see like little moments of him peppered throughout some of X-Men and him trying to figure it out.
It's like a side story,
Towards Sins of Sinister, he finds out that there is essentially a kill switch or something in the medication that's not right. And I don't know if he broke the story or not. I forget. But essentially he figured it out. And this is we're going to figure out what that is here. And what it is essentially Orcus is the one that kind of
with the help of MODOK.
With the help of MODOK.
Created this kill switch in the medicine that is now holding everyone hostage.
Yes.
All the humans essentially.
Yeah, so we got Orcus just coming in and fucking with everyone. We got humans. We got like Wilson Fisk is here. Remember, just not mutants are here. Many like
leaders,
diplomats, ambassadors, stuff like that.
Royalty
are all here. So
Strong Guy's here.
Strong Guy's here.
And he throws Kitty because everybody wants their own fastball special.
Yeah, so like we get the Sentinels coming in and Kitty's all like, you know what? I'm going to do what I do best and fuck with some technology.
And she phases through it.
Phases through some Sentinels. They look like
Iron Man suits.
Iron Man. Specifically the X-Men Buster suits.
Yeah.
Which are Sentinels. They're like Sentinels. I believe.
That was a big arc.
Yeah.
They've referenced that a few times. They're dusting off a few hits here. None of this is new.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time Nimrod has showed up just to kill everybody. So, this isn't even the best version of that.
No. So that's happening. Miss Marvel's like, I just became a mutant. What's is this your life?
Is this how you people live?
Is this how this happens?
And,
like
someone looks at her like there's like a young, like rosy cheeked mutant teenager, and they're like, yes, as they're like Dragon Ball Z vapored away.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, this is normal. And she's like holding their hand still. That's all that's left. And Miss Marvel's just like, what?
Dust.
Vomits. Like, she's like, I can't handle this. And Emma just starts slapping her around. She's like, this is just a normal day. This is just Tuesday.
This is a Tuesday.
Get it together. You wanted to be a fucking mutant.
God damn it.
Deal with it, bitch.
Yeah. So we see Nimrod do a pretty big Kamehameha towards the what is that one again?
Juggernaut.
But the building. I forgot the name of the building.
I don't remember it either, but
it's the Hellfire. It's part of the
Hellfire
Spire.
I want to call it that.
Okay, we're calling it that.
So Nimrod is not powerful enough to bring the Spire down on his own, but when he shoots the Juggernaut with his energy beam, the energy beam is able to reverse Juggernaut, thus creating Juggernaut into a bullet that brings the Spire down. That was pretty clever. I like that moment.
That was cool.
He used the Juggernaut's ability back at everyone, essentially. And that fucking kills. When he does that, it kills like the majority of the people who are there.
Yeah. And that's when we get Jean Grey. She's had enough, and she's just like, stop. She literally
freezes everything with her mind.
Everything, everyone around, and she just speaks out to everyone psychically. She's like, all right, this is what's gonna happen. Like we could all just leave right now. We could just all leave. We could all live. If you're part of Orcus, just leave. Just leave. If you don't do that, we will be forced. Or what did she say? She'll scramble your brains.
Yeah, she'll pretty much liquefy everyone's mind there, like just rework it
there. And as that happens, we get Orcus is like, all right, now's your time to do that. And when that happens, out of nowhere, with a knife, out of all things, comes Moira.
Stabs Jean in the throat.
Stabby.
Right through the throat.
Fuck, like...
That's
almost like the back
of her
back of the neck, and it comes out the throat.
Yeah, so
that
like
is
right by the esophagus. Yeah. Oof. Yep.
Oof.
But Jean's still doing her stuff with her mind to try to keep things going.
So this is Moira.
That's her like
Is this
evil person
original
rant
Moira?
where she's like, but she's cyborg now too.
Cyborg, yeah, she's
Yeah.
cyborg. Which okay.
And Scott's like dying in the background.
So he's dying,
Mhm.
like from whatever distraction they caused.
Yep.
X-Men go in. They're still
Who's
fighting.
left?
They're still doing their best to fight.
Because they see Jean get dropped, and that's like
that's
a rallying
the thing.
point.
Like once Jean fell, they're like, "Aw, hell no, let's do this."
Yeah, it was like that point in Invincible when they like cracked open like Monster Girl's face. They're like, "You just messed up."
Oh no, fuck you. Yeah, he takes off.
And she's like, "I got Charles as hostage."
And that's when all these very powerful mutants stop at the hands of a woman with a knife.
Yeah,
which I found funny.
Yeah, just
I mean, I get it, but
one lady
I
with a
just
knife
find
brought
it
the
funny.
whole thing down.
Yeah,
It wasn't that hard.
So he's holding.
Good job, Charles. You really
hostage.
made a foolproof plan here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the Krakoa thing. Like, this has all failed so many times already. So now it's just kind of funny. I feel like we've been here, but
yeah.
even with just this new paradigm that
like
Hickman created, it feels like this has run its course too much.
Some
now.
explanation of how this has happened to make it not
They're
just seem like
stuck
X-Men are stupid.
Well, they're stuck in like a literal fidget X-Men spinner storyline problem that just keeps going in circles. But yeah, Charles tells everyone to give up, to surrender.
So yeah,
because they're afraid they're going to activate the kill switch and kill the humans.
Yes.
And Charles surprisingly is like, no, I don't want that to happen.
Exactly.
Surrender. We stop fighting. So the fight's over.
Surrender.
Or paused at least.
Mm-hmm. And while that's happening, that's when we get essentially the first
big reveal
with Firestorm and Jean. So Jean is dying. Mm-hmm. She is about to die. So she's using these last moments to psychically project herself to Firestorm. And essentially what she does is going, all right, here's what's going to happen. I'm about to die. I got seconds left. Mm-hmm. What I'm going to do is inject into Orcus's mind that you've been a double agent this whole time. So if everyone dies here, you will still be here. You'll keep going and you could figure out what's going on with Orcus. And she's just all like, wait, what? I don't know. No. She's like so not prepared for something like this.
She's like, why me of all people? This is so weird. Okay.
Yeah, and we just kind of see some of these memories injected and whatnot. And so what happens is Orcus forces the X-Men to leave the planet. They must leave the planet forever, and they must never return. And I believe what they say is, if a mutant returns, they'll kill one human. If a mutant returns again, they'll kill 10, and tenfold on and on. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's like they're trying to make it a ridiculously bad idea to do it.
Yeah.
So
they agree. They all start heading towards the portals, which is supposed to go to Rocco, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to take them off the planet to Mars.
Off to Mars, yeah.
Yeah, so
that happens.
But then there becomes this whole MacGuffin where they start explaining that, well, there's the thing about Mother Sinister first we'll talk about, because she has her own thing that's like Mother Superior, which is Female Sinister, essentially.
Female Sinister, yeah.
That is enacting her own plan on top of this, because Sinister already put that in motion. But then there's this whole problem when they're like, well, I can tell them to go through the portals, but there's all the mutants that I trained psychically over the years to fight my telepathy. It's such a stupid fucking like problem that they bring up that they could have just wrote around, and then it feels like this
but they brought it in for no reason.
That they made this
add friction.
fucking
like,
plot
why?
more convoluted, and
No, that was weird. Although
hated it.
It is kind of worth it just to see Protege kind of like tackle a bunch of people into the portal.
Oh no, you're thinking of
or not
Nemesis, or not Nemesis?
No,
Exodus.
Yes,
yeah.
Exodus.
That was cool. Yeah, yes, that was cool.
Might be worth it just for
I
that.
dug that. some of those things were cool, but yeah, this was just this got out of control, and it was like some stupid and they wanted to do it. It's a secret weapon,
and then they go into the whole thing about
like as if they wanted to waste time about it. And you're like, no, this is just like a problem, a MacGuffin right now that you're moving.
They just
past.
wanted this really cool like iconography that you start seeing throughout the rest of the comic.
They wanted some Hickman chart throwback, and they did not earn it. It was almost like they're like, can we retcon this in if we're done writing the story? Like, just go back and add in this stupid little thing. Yeah, no, it's not. Nope.
Right.
Nope. But their real backup plan is that if Firestar, if she turns into their double agent, essentially, if this falls through.
Yes, exactly. So she's there, and she's like, I can't do this. And she's all like, you must. They
killed Bobby. He used to be my roommate. It was Spider-Man.
Oh, man. Right?
She's bringing back the Amazing Friends. That's how they're going to infiltrate Orchid.
And then we get this image. I like this, which is Charles like screaming with a skeleton. Why did she turn into a skeleton?
Well, that's what happened to Bobby. Remember? Like, the nanobots like kind of like
so it's whatever is stabbed into her.
Yeah, once that gets in you, it's like a flesh-eating nano kind of thing. Okay. I guess.
Okay.
There's a lot of flying by the seat of their pants here.
So as that's happening, she's pretty much dead, but as she's dying, like
her psychic ghost tells Scott, "Hey, I love you."
Yeah, it tells Scott, "I love you,"
and then flies over to Logan and says, "Oh, by the way, I love you too."
And I love you too,
and
buddy.
He's like, "Oh, you remember me?"
And he's like, "Ah, Gene, Gene,
I'm gonna kill these people."
Wait, and then and then after that he was like, wait, Gene.
No.
Oh, yeah. He was like,
Gee. And Wolverine was just like, bub.
He was like,
yes. Piece of gutter trash. That's what he says to Jean when she says she finally loves him. Yeah. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm your side dude too long. You can love me now, but it's too late.
And what was he doing?
There's probably a whole issue about it and something, but it's like,
well, he's been dealing with he's been a clone because Beast has been cloning like the savage version of him lately.
Yeah, making him fight things.
And he recently just got his mind back, his consciousness back.
Beast started cloning himself.
Oh, God.
That's not going.
There's some. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But he gets the message. Jean's dead, and he's like, "All right, time to take out some." Pent up aggression.
Yeah,
time to mourn.
Yeah, once he kills everyone in the room,
murks.
There's that shot with Exodus you were talking about, where he's
and then
pushing
so like there's a lot of X-Men resisting, going through the portals. So there's just one shot of just Exodus just tackling what looks like what is that? Hope and
the Five essentially.
The Five,
because the five were like they didn't want to leave people behind
exactly,
and the psychic control couldn't work on them.
Yeah.
And then Charles just kills Mystique for some reason. Maybe because she had it coming.
Yeah, I don't get.
Because she's like, you can't tell me to no portal, Charles. And then he's like, well, then I'll give you a brain aneurysm and make you fall off this cliff.
And then she just falls. Yes. I'll kill you. I'll resurrect you later, I guess. I don't know. I think that's his logic. I don't know.
Because he thinks if she won't go, they'll fucking kill the people for each one. And then MODOK's like, I haven't done anything but stand here with this remote the whole time, but it was so great. And then the last bit of resisting X-Men try to resist, and then they teleport away. Because it was all a planned part of Emma's plan the whole time.
Yeah, Emma was kind of planning
We had a plan where we were going to escape because we knew we were going to lose. This is our secret backup plan. That was a plan. Not a... We knew we'd be right here in this elaborate fuck-up of weird shit.
Who's this? Okay, so they portal away, right?
That's the mutant who teleported them away. I don't know who she was.
Who she is?
I don't recognize her. Their gala clothing makes it hard.
It's so hard with the gala clothing sometimes. Yeah.
Kind of. I'm also getting to a point where like everyone's gala clothing is starting to blend together over the years.
True.
So now it's like I'm starting to think people are other people because their designs seem to be getting reused in weird ways.
But she teleports him away and dies in the process.
And Emma's like, this is so sad. Like, they're back in the original basement of the original Hellfire, the original Hellions. Old school.
Yeah.
So that's where they're at. With Wilson Fisk in tow, who's like, where's my wife?
Yeah, he's just like, my wife.
Someone makes a joke later about him being like, Someone says like, "Wow, the blob is really tiny," and it's like this.
That's great.
That's good.
That's good. So back on Krakoa, we have
Nimrod finishing off.
Nimrod
Juggernaut.
finishing off. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, just dragging him. Big bloodstain. Moira's like, I gotta stab Charles. Why doesn't anyone let me stab Charles?
So they're planning shit.
Yeah.
Back over at the Hellfire secret place.
Yeah.
And they're all like, all right, we're gonna do this.
Emma's no place. No.
Emma's no place.
Just like Myra has
like,
one.
all right,
Emma's
we gotta go through the portal. We gotta go find them. We gotta go find some people. We gotta go back. She's like, what's his name from Lost? She's like, we gotta go back to the island. We gotta do it, Kate.
Oh Jesus. Well, it's like she's trying to do like a Bill Pullman where she's like, let's do this. Let's rally. We're not going quietly into the night. And then she tries to use the portal and breaks her nose.
And she goes to the portal and smacks her fucking nose, just like Kitty in first issue of Marauders.
Yep.
So yeah, looks like the portals are closed to mutants. No mutants can use them, unfortunately.
And Club Sinister's like, I had planned for that too. And then he's also like, let's kill all the humans here because we don't need no witnesses.
Yeah.
So all these diplomats and like foreign leaders and things and what have you,
all dead
of like importance, are gone. And Charles is like,
no, why'd you do this?
I set the mutants
followed
away.
the rules and all that.
Yeah, which is just obviously this is dumb. This is all just
Charles, you're dumb.
Yep. Yeah, and
as that's happening,
Moira goes in for the kill.
Moira's here. I like that image of the Sentinel in the background. Yeah, that's beautiful.
That reminded me of Days of Future Past.
So this is Garcia. We switched from here. Yeah, right here. We're now with Marta Garcia, and it's beautiful artwork. But as she's going in for the kill, right? She's about to stab him. Boom! In comes Rogue. Like a beast, and
splits her in two.
Splits her in two. She's a robot. She's all like LMD like now.
Yeah.
And just takes Charles and just bails
and
with the quickness.
She's making like erratic flight so they can't follow her accurately, and she's just navigating around the Atlantic Ocean randomly to lose them.
Yeah.
And then Charles has this big like epiphany moment. Because she's like, well, what do we do? How do we meet up with mutants? And he's like,
I can't sense them.
Yeah, you know those mutants that are forced to go through those portals? I can't sense any of them anywhere in the universe at all.
Yeah.
And so, essentially, that's just like one of those things where you're like, oh my God, the mutants are dead. All the mutants are dead.
They're dead. Don't you see? They're dead. They're all dead. And yeah, so like he's like, I can't sense anyone. I think he says like I can only sense like 2%.
Well, the people who are still essentially around, not
which is the people at the hideout.
Yeah, and the people that kind of are in special areas. So that was, yeah. Charles is like, just leave me here to cry on this island and go figure out things, kill people if you have to.
Yeah, she's just like he's like go avenge. He says go avenge them, and he's just crying here on the island, just like they're all gone. They're all gone.
And then Rogue's like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah,
and just flies off, and she's like, well, I guess I'll go kill some people.
I mean, yeah.
All
right, so she bails. Yeah, she goes and avenges. And that is it. Or is it? After we get this ad for Miss Marvel, we go with a little tease at the end. And they're all hanging out at the Hellfire Gala. They're figuring out what to do. They still don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
And remember that scene where Kitty was leaning up against the portal earlier, right? Because she can't
go through them anymore.
She leans up against the portal, and what happens?
She flies through it.
She goes right through the portal, and she comes and pops out at the Jerusalem, Israel. Oh shit! What the fuck? Oh shit! Sorry, there's like a bug flying around right now that's trying to kill us.
He wants blood.
I know, it wants blood. It's trying to murder us. Get away! Get away, bug! I don't know where it went.
I don't know either.
Oh no, what's happening? Help me! Help me! So yeah, she pops out of like one of the Krakoan gates from the Krakoa's embassy in Jerusalem in Israel, and she just like falls on the ground.
Yeah.
And there's just Orcus members with guns And she's like, "Hey, what's up? How's it going, everyone?"
Take a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
One of those moments.
So apparently she can use the gates now.
So now she could use the gates.
And that's the cliffhanger ending we end on.
So what if they did the hack it did the reverse for Kitty?
Yeah, like somehow like she can, because it's using like nanotechnology to hack it, and she can phase through that, and that causes it to disrupt, and it forces her to use the portal. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe
it's it's all weird. There's so many they have so many rules, and they break them all the time and retcon it. It's like, I can't even be excited about like Kitty being able to use the portal. I'm like, who cares? So silly.
And that is where we end this issue. Hellfire Gala. What a bang. What'd you feel?
Hated it.
He hated it. Danny hated it. He hated it.
You know when Nimrod showed up during Second Coming, I believe, or one of the Messiah Complex arcs?
Messiah Complex.
Yeah, during that whole arc, like that was dope because like they already didn't have like the recovery protocols. People started dying viciously, losing limbs. Everybody was fighting for their life. It felt weighted. This was just like, done, moving on. A lot of the murders and like things happen kind of off panel. So
none of the 5 died?
They didn't show that, no.
Okay, so
I don't remember seeing that for sure.
Still have resurrections at least.
I think technically they do die though, in some way, from what I heard. But who knows?
We'll see.
Who knows?
We'll see how things go in the future. But after this, we have the X-Men. We got Iceman. We got
what's Iceman? He's dead.
The Astonishing Iceman. Come on.
Is there a new Iceman? Like what's going on?
What's gonna happen there? We got some Immortal X-Men that's still happening. I imagine that's gonna flesh out Sinister stuff. And we got that wedding with Emma and Tony Stark.
Huzzah!
Are you excited?
Yeah, sure.
It's happening.
Good for them. I'm glad everyone's finding love. So how it's gonna go in the movies? They're gonna like tie Emma in somehow in the new Iron Man series or something.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But that'll do it for this week. She's dead. She's dead.
She's as dead as this bug is going to be when I find it.
Yeah, this bug is going to die after this podcast. I'm excited.
It's here somewhere, I know. It's lurking, waiting for us to drop our guard.
That'll do it for us this week. Be sure to check out freespeechgeek.com for more stuff. We also have our other podcast, Edited Truth. Go check that out. And Danny, always remember,
mutant and proud.
You can even hear the bike in the background. Oh, yeah.